Hello everyone, welcome back to the second circle, a Helltaker Fangame. Let's go ahead and continue. The next morning, you're awakened from your slumber by an incessant scratching at the door. Grabbing some clothes from the nearby chair, you head towards the door. Upon opening your door, you are almost bowled over as all three bodies of Cerberus burst through the frame like a fluffy white whirlwind. They run around your room, pulling books from shelves, clothes from your hamper, and making faces at your wardrobe. Beyond the doorway stands Pandamonica, the copy reserves in her mug approaching the danger zone. Oh good, you're awake. Hope you haven't forgotten about my morning brew. Your mind races as you try to recall. Right, triple macchiato with whipped cream, sprinkled with the tears of virgins. Pandamonica shrugs, uncharacteristically apathetic. Or chocolate sauce. Today's a splurge day, I think. You look around at what was once, before Cerberus at least, a well-cleaned room. I don't suppose you've seen Lucifer around, have you? The demon shakes her head. She's a little overloaded at work right now, so I wouldn't expect her to be around much over these next few days. With all the subtlety of an avalanche, Cerberus butts into the conversation. She left a message for you though. She said to keep up the good work. Then she made a scary face. She pulled back her lips and showed us all her teeth. So, she smiled? They aren't exaggerating, this time at least. It did look a little more genuine than usual. Between the two of you, manage to corral Cerberus out of your room. She disappears down the hall, talking to herself in hushed tones. You hurry downstairs, Lucifer's message weighing slightly on your mind. Keep up the good work. I wonder what she means. Select your character. Okay, let's see. Today I feel like a justice day. Let's see, let's go find a justice. Hello, my lovely beloved justice. True to your word, you and Justice start hitting the gym on a regular basis. Though grueling at times, the workouts leave you feeling better than ever. With a newfound spring in your step, you decide that it's time to complete some of the more menial household errands that you had been putting off until now. Starting with some of the boxes that are laying around in Modius' closet, you begin carting your old junk out of the car for donation. As you are carrying a particularly cumbersome box, one filled to the brim with your old model sets and paints, you run into Justice in the living room. Literally. Whoa there, Chief. You glare to grant an amazing display of stooge-like physical comedy. Then, as if it wasn't enough, the withered tape holding the box together gives way and its contents spill out into the floor. Sorry, Taker. I didn't hear you coming. It's alright. Here, let me help you clean up. Oh, that isn't necessary. Aw, nonsense. I'm happy to help. Before you can protest any further, Justice is already feeling around on the floor. She places her hand on one of the pieces that had escaped the box. Aha! Oh, what's this? It's nothing. Doesn't feel like nothing. You watch with a mix of horror and embarrassment as Justice ponders over the object in her hands. Now, what we have here? A toy of some sort. You know, this reminds me a lot of the nights that were all over the place when I was young. I remember children would run around with these little wooden replicas of the warriors they favored the most. Could this be one of your old toys from when you were a kid? Not exactly. Oh. It's a model. A model? Yeah. Collecting them was an old hobby of mine. What do you do with them after you collect them? Well, you're supposed to paint them. After that, it depends on the person, I suppose. Some people just keep them around to look at. Other people like to use them in games. I see. And what would you do with them? Well, I want to paint them and put them up for display, but look sheepishly at the figure that Justice has in her hands. Color choice aside, the paint job itself is atrocious. The paint is globbed on so thickly that many of the model's more intricate details have been lost. Beyond that, shading isn't consistent. The freehand work looks like a child's crayon drawing. There's still evidence of glue at the joints where the excess was not wiped away properly. But what? I never got the hang of it. Ah. Painting was never my strong suit. So, what are you gonna do with them now? I'm not sure. They've just been sitting in boxes, cluttering up Modius's closet since I got back from hell. Maybe someone who's better at painting can strip the color and do them up properly. With a sigh, you begin gathering up the figures that lay scattered over the living room floor. Expecting Justice to pitch in and help right away, you're surprised when the demon does not move. Justice? Looking up, you are met with a surprising sight. Justice is frowning. You don't like painting anymore? No, I do, it's just... Then why are you getting rid of the stuff? Well, I haven't touched it in a long time, so all it's doing is taking up space. Why don't you just move it all into your room then? I could do that, I suppose, but... But what? I just really don't think I'm cut out for painting, Justice. I gotta be honest with you, Taker. It makes me sad to think about you giving up on something you once enjoyed. You say you aren't good at painting, so what? Is there competition? No. Do you have to be the best painter out there? No. I suppose not. Then answer me this, honestly. Even though the paint jobs weren't that great, you still enjoyed painting, didn't you? I did. Then who cares? Pardon? Look, I know that it feels good to be good at something, but this is a hobby, man. You're not entering them in any competitions and you aren't selling them for profit, so who cares if you're good or not? All that matters is you and the enjoyment you get out of the deal. Right? Okay. At the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what to do here. If you really want to get rid of this stuff, go for it. I won't stop you. But if you ask me, I don't think you really want to close the door on this hobby. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you enjoyed the hell out of painting these things, and the only reason you're quitting is because there's this little voice in your head that's needling you and saying that you have to be good at something for it to be worthwhile. Well, I say screw that. Being good at a hobby is secondary. Happiness is what really counts. You find yourself looking down at the figure resting in your palm. It's true, the paint job is horrendous. But nevertheless, you recall the excitement you felt when you brought it home and took it out of the box. You remember staring wide-eyed at the pieces laid out before you, daydreaming of all the colors you wanted to use. It took you all afternoon just to paint that one figure. An afternoon well spent. You're right. I do miss this hobby. And I don't really want to get rid of all this stuff. Then don't. Here, let me help you clean this all up, and then we can set it up all in your room, yeah? Maybe you can describe to me just how you painted some of these little dudes. You nod and set to work cleaning up the figures off the living room floor. With Justice's help, it doesn't take you long at all, and soon the two of you are sitting side by side on your bed, with the box's contents laid out before you. Grinning from ear to ear, Justice has the figure of a knight in her hand and is feeling it over with her fingertips. And what about this one? It's red. Just red? Yeah? Well, what kind of red? It's a deep blood red or bright crimson? Or maybe it's closer to soft rose? No, it's not like that. It's a red. Red? Oh. Just red? No, there's also some yellow for the lines on the shield. I see. And how about this one? That's an elf sort of character. I painted the robes green. As you watch Justice play with her figure in her hand, I thought it occurs to you. Say, Justice. Huh? I don't want to sound rude, but how can you picture what colors are what? I wasn't always blind, you know. You weren't? No. When I was much younger, I could see. Oh. What happened? That's a long story, Taker. Perhaps one for another day. Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. Don't worry about it, Chief. If it were up to me, I'd have no problems telling you all about it. But since there are others in this house that are involved in that story, I don't want to out their past without their consent, you know? I understand. Without missing a beat, Justice reaches for another figure. What color is this one? Actually, I haven't painted that one yet. Really? Yeah. I've been meaning to get around to it, but I've been a little sidetracked lately. Well, what are we waiting for now? We've got the paints and the brushes. Now is as good a time as any to slap kill on this bad boy. I suppose you're right. Let's see here. There are much around the box for your paints. However, much to your dismay, you find them in bad sorts. Many have hues are leaked out due to being improperly closed, while others have gone bad outright. Ah, damn. What is it? My paints are bad. That's a bummer. Looks like it didn't close them properly. I'll have to restock at some point. Where do you usually get your paints? There's a little hobby shop in town. They've got a big wall of paint, so I shouldn't have a problem loading up on new colors. Can I come with you? You really want to? Of course! You can browse through some sort of the malls too, right? I should expand my collection, shouldn't I? That's what I like to hear. So it's a date, right? Yeah, it's a date. Justice is so cute. Okay, who's next? I'm feeling kind of chaotic. Let's see what Zdrada's up to. Hey, Zdrada. Taker, I have a task for you. Yes? Would you mind checking in on Zdrada? She hasn't come to meals recently. I'm worried she might be on another of her legendary benders. Assuming she's conscious, is there any message you'd like me to deliver? At least for sniffs. Unluckily for me, I aspire to be a president who cares about my constituents. Just make sure she doesn't need any medical assistant. That should suffice. I'll get on that then. Departing, you make your way behind the house, heading for a rundown old trailer Zdrada calls home. As you close in on your destination, a strange sound makes you pause. Its pattern is somewhat familiar. Is that poetry? Overtaken by curiosity, you quietly nudge open the door and peer inside the trailer. The interior, like usual, looks like it has recently been hit by a tornado. Clothes, balls, and overflowing ashtrays speckle every surface of the living space, tossed aside in a wild abandon and forgotten about just as quickly. At the epicenter of the storm, Zdrada kneels over a table, muttering cryptic verses to a small object you can't quite make out. Politely, you cough. Quickly throwing cloth over what is on the table, Zdrada rolls around. Whoa there, cowboy. I wasn't expecting you to come calling. Isn't it polite to knock on a lady's door? Thought I'd drop by. You've been suspiciously absent from meals. Is everything alright? Alright. Yeah, I'm fucking peachy. What's it to you? Something's got her agitated. She's not normally this high-strung. Realize that you aren't going to get any further pressing the issue. You're going to have to take another tact if you want her to lower your guard. Better change the topic, and quick. Every other part of your body seems to have metal embedded in it. Why not your horns? For the same reasons you humans to get your nuts pierced? Thanks for that mental image. Our horns are an important part of our biology. It's where we store our voodoo juice. If anything happened to these bitchin' babes, I'd have to kiss my reputation goodbye. So your horns are a reservoir for magical energy? Zdrada nods. And not only that, but our horns are super sensitive to the touch. Basically an erogenous zone for most of us. So you mean that one of her Cerberus starts up asking me to rub her head, she's... Yeah. And that time I found you with those wire wrigglers, you were actually... Bingo. I'm pretty surprised you didn't realize what was going on at the time. But that doesn't explain why you were doing it in his ass's closet. Like that girl doesn't do the exact same thing when we weren't around. Everyone knows Angel spent most of her mortality in the closet. That reminds me of a favor I've been meaning to ask. You mind taking me out on a supply run? Depends. What are you looking for? Girly stuff. You ain't get it. I shop for the house at large. You'd be surprised at some of the things I come home with. Foiled Zdrada's sighs in frustration. Listen. I ain't about to explain it all to you, but I do need something really, really badly. So, we can beat around the bush all day tweaking each other's titties, or you can grow up hair and take your gal pal out to stock up on some necessities. Besides, I got some leverage that make it worth your while. Leverage? Zdrada smirks and withdraws a small, flat rock from her pocket. What I got right here is gonna revolutionize the way you chuckle fuck morals trip. It's a sigil I have spent all month working on. This little baby's a mimetic psychosis inducer. Doesn't even need skin-to-skin contact to work. Just one peep and then you're off on a trip of a lifetime. But it's just a rock, right? It's not just a rock, dipshit. It's fucking art. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to weed the essence of oaths into a sigil and not attract the attention of that delusional fucker? That's absurd. Even by our standards, how could a piece of art do something like that? Before you can finish your questions, Zdrada brandishes the stone, flashing the scarlet sigil etched into the surface before you have a chance to react. The sigil glows faintly with unnatural illumination, burning itself into your retinas. Its peculiar shape, vaguely resembling an inverted house and covered Egyptian-style markings, twists and distorts before your eyes. Well, that wasn't so bad. You know, you've never really noticed before how fine textured the walls in Zdrada's trailer are. You run one finger down on your surface, relishing the feeling of the lumpy, uneven material. Idly, you wonder whether Zdrada has ever considered selling tickets for people to feel this incredible wall. Zdrada, wall have you always been guttered, ticket wall have not? There's no response from the empty expanse of air you just addressed. Confused, you continue staring at it, trying to remember the basic principles of object permanence. Oh boy, we're going on a journey. We're high as fuck. And takes a risk, and you find yourself being pulled in a direction that reminds you vaguely of strawberries. Finally, a voice cuts through the smug reality, closing in around you. Alright, big guy, let's get you out of the car, shall we? Time's a wasting. Yes, that sounds nice. Looks like blossoming tulips drifting upon a sea of penguins. The fair petals bristled by winds and mountain yore. Vaguely, you can feel yourself placed in a cushioned seat, and straps firmly securing you in place. Oh boy. Bizarre, confusing stories play out before your eyes. 6 brightly colored robots wearing disturbing tribal mask windmill their arms frantically at smaller, pill-bug-shaped androids. A young woman cries from inside a school locker, surrounded by insects rippling with concentric motions. 4 stone friends dodge a military drought to travel around the country in a brightly colored van. 1,000 tales, some strange, others strangely familiar, bombard your senses, melding together into an unintelligible morass of abstract fiction. Faint voices emerge from the swirling vision, sounds in an almost unrecognizable dialect. Straining your ears, you can just barely make out the words. Hit the Iser on his ass. With enormous effort, you pull yourself back into reality. You struggle to take your bearings as reality rises around you. Judging by the rosy pink color of the sky, you've been unconscious for quite some time. Where are we, Zdrada? The car is parked outside behind a large grape facility. The warm air streaming in through the open window smells vaguely of farm animals. With the grace of an Olympic diver, Zdrada dives through the open window of your car, landing in contorted mess in the driver's seat. Panting, she rights herself. Knows she's clutching a thick, odd-smelling bag to her chest. Noticing her attention, she quickly stows away out of sight under her seat. The sharp crack as something blurs past the window and snaps the side view mirror off its axle. It dangles forlornly by a single stalwart cable as Zdrada swears and twists the key in the ignition. Shit, they have guns! Hell, so fucking mill! Go, go, go! Wait. Who's shooting at Zdrada? What did you do? No time for us to play catch up. We have to drive. Like a bat out of hell, the car roars in the parking lot, leaving your unknown assailants to clamber into their own vehicle and wheel out after you. Zdrada cackles and floors the accelerator, reaching out through a driver's window to flip your pursuers like a conciliatory bird. Later, bitches! Your poor car does its best to outrun the vehicles pursuing it. Top speed is not one of its strengths. Despite your initial lead, the cars in the rearview mirror start to creep closer and closer. Son of a... they're gaining on us! Rise shouting with excitement, Zdrada makes a complicated gesture, firing springs into palms, a blazing fury the size of an apple. As you watch, the fire begins to condense, glowing ever brighter. I haven't been at decent scrap in ages. It's a long time since I've been able to return fire. Something about the way she says that sets her teeth on edge. The fire further compacts, glittering with an almost painful brightness. Despite its small size, you can feel the heat coming off of it in waves. Hold it! You grab her free hand with one of your own, smiling at the miniature star. Hey, what gives? I don't care if we're being chased by the Mafia. You are not about to unleash fire magic in my car. We're going to lead them a different way instead. Take the next right. Zdrada turns his turn so sharply. 2 of the car wheels briefly lose contact with the pavement. Alright, where to next, oh ye of little collateral damage? Take a left at the end of the road and then take another. There's an alleyway that should be just narrow enough for the car. Zdrada's breakneck driving style pays off. Your Your car slips into the alleyway only a dozen seconds before your pursuers roar past, none the wiser. The two of you let out sighs of relief as you feel the adrenaline rush gradually recede. Nice one, Taker. Thought you'd be a dueling master than most of this. Surprised you're even lucid given your exposure to my sigil. Lucid? Ah, the second wave isn't hit yet. Well, hold tight, big guy. Your part in this whole operation begins soon. My part? What do you mean by... Wait, what second wave? What the fuck? Mako slack as the cosmos unfolds before you, and as Zdrada guns accelerator and sends the two careening down the alleyway, you lapse back into delirium. Stars, galaxies, and nebula will pass you at impossible speeds, shooting into blackness of space and leaving only a faint point of light behind. 1,000 motes of starlight twinkle out of you from the darkness, faintly illuminating a massive field dotted with animals at either end. At the end nearest to you, a blood-spattered natty goat paws at the ground, snoring a challenge. A dragon, a fox, a python, and an enormous mantis stand at the other end of the star-studded field, bearing fangs, horns, and mandibles of the upstart goat. Bleeding defiantly at its four opponents, the goat lowers its head and charges. The five beings clash with an almighty eruption of sound and flames, the impact merging with the cries of defying animals. Twisted and broken, Fox limps away from the melee, quickly followed by the enormous snake, leaving the mantis and dragon still locked in combat with the tenacious goat. How many are the chicken nuggets? You are the man, we'll take your entire stock. Tonight we eat like kings. You blink, the vision's gradually receding as reality snaps back and the focus around you. Grinning anthropomorphic animals leer at you from the walls, and a familiar bored face looks back at you from across the grimy counter. Hey Abby, good to see you again. Sir, are you alright? The massive, emaciated snake, still superimposed upon your sight, its endless, listless coils and towers, ravaged by some terrible attack. Marble white bow and boasted flint's body wrapped throughout the restaurant. The flat, triangular head of a great serpent rests upon the cheap plastic counter, its eyes gazing at you with a mixture of curiosity and apathy. Slowly as the snake shifts his gaze from you to an oblivious Zdrada, fixing her lazily with a long, thrice-forked tongue. Hey, hurry up and hand over the dough. We can't be here for long, remember? Only half listening, you rub your eyes with one hand as you fish out your wallet to pay for the food. As you hand your credit card over the counter to Abby, you make the mistake of gazing into the electric display behind the counter. The garishly colored commercial, complete with dancing fast food mascots, swells to cover your entire vision, supplanting your reality with its own. The monster that looks like a huge purple turret is doing some sort of horrific windmill dance with its fingerless forelimbs. The pigtailed chicken bears a mouthful of very human teeth at you, and brandishes a red dripping burger at you. Join us, they seem to say. Join us and become happy. Become one. Hey, snap out of it, you lightweights! A single powerful slap brings you back to reality. You and Zdrada are now enclosed in a large plastic room suspended high over the dining area. A dark orifice breaches the far corner of the chamber, the plastic sloping sharply downwards. Laid out before you is a resplendent meal of fried breaded chicken and various sauces. Wait out! Why are you in the play place? Shut up and listen carefully to me. Soberly, you dip a piece of fried chicken into your sauce and wait for Zdrada to explain what the hell is going on. I don't know exactly where you are in space and time, but try to focus on the here and now. Those people who were chasing us earlier might have called the cops on us. I saw them pulling up outside the restaurant and pulled your drooling ass in here so I could finish my food in peace. That being said, well... Zdrada gestures grimly to a translucent bubble taking one wall. Peering down through it, you can see at least a dozen policemen arrayed in the dining room beneath you. One of them appears to be questioning Abby. Nodding to a police officer, Abby points up at the play place infrastructure where the two of you are hiding. As the cops begin to close ranks, slowly grouping around the structure, Abby looks up at your bubble and gives a little half-hearted shrug. It's okay, Abby. Attention, suspects. We have you surrounded. Come out with your hands where we can see them. I reckon we got about 2 minutes before they get up here and find us. The demoness glares daggers at you. And because someone doesn't approve my usual methods, I'm fresh fucking out solutions. She rummages around in her shirt. Zdrada pulls out familiar residual etched stone. Wanna take one last hit before they take us into custody? Might make the next few hours a little less insufferable. Wait a minute. You still have that thing? Dadoy, we spent weeks on this. You think I'd let it out of my sight? Think I may have just had an idea. As the officers close in on their bubble, you whisper your plan to Zdrada, and a smile gradually spreads across her face. That's diabolical, Taker. Maybe you aren't such a stick in the mud after all. Your preparations conclude. The two of you get into position at the top of the slide. Zdrada sitting on your lap, your hands on her hips, and a nod from you, Zdrada calls down to the floor below. Hey, shitlicks, we're coming down the large slide. You don't want any trouble, you hear? You push off and pray that the slide will hold your combined weight. Fortunately, the structure only makes the occasional groan as the two of you coast down the ground level. Zdrada leans back into you, readjusts herself, perhaps a rad too aggressively, upon her lap. You ready? Yeah. You place your thumb slightly under the edge of her shirt, brace yourself for arrival. As you emerge from the interior of the side, the two of you are greeted by a stunningly excessive amount of batons, handcuffs, and tasers, all aimed directly at your face. Hands where I can see them! I hope this works. Zdrada throws her hands into the ceiling, signaling you to do the same. Making sure your fingers are still hooked under your shirt, you raise your arms as well, taking your shirt along with them. Stunned silence greets your reveal, and bringing around Zdrada's side, you can see every eye in the restaurant staring directly at Zdrada's exposed top. Zdrada's voice, slightly muffled by a clothing pulled overhead, breaks the silence. Did it work? A loud thump answers Zdrada's question, quickly followed by another and then another. Everywhere you look, officers are falling to the ground as if they were puppets whose strings had just been cut. Oh damn, Zdrada, you got a nice chest. The police chief looks in confusion from you to Zdrada's chest, trying to make sure a sense of what was going on. But you, and just drawing, I don't, do you see a snake? Her throat is giving out, and the police chief crumples to the ground with the rest of her unit, twitching occasionally. You let out your breath and let Zdrada's shirt fall back down, once again carrying the sigilled stone she tucked into her bra less than a minute ago. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You sure you aren't some kind of evil genius? Last I checked. I'm surprised that worked as well as it did. Oh yeah, a little faith. When I bust out this bod, you'd better believe I get the eyes of everything in that room. Even gloomy tits over there can't stop ogling me. Still standing stalwartly behind the counter, Ivy looks Zdrada up and down with vague interest. Just hands down the most energy you've seen her apply to something. Picking your way over the insensate officers, Zdrada saunters up to the young woman, reaching across the counter. She prods Abby with a pointed nail, as if she's kind of some specimen on display at a museum. Interesting. The sigil must lose its potency along your ranges. Tell me, how are you feeling right now? Like I'm not getting paid enough for this job. A burst of radio static sends both of you into Zdrada spinning around. Small heavy-duty field phone strapped to front of the police chief buzzes again. Chief, have you apprehended the suspects? We have more officers standing by if you need assistance. Nah, shit, we gotta bail. Where's the car? Just out front. Let's move. Abby waves a gloomy goodbye to the two of you as you vault over the convulsing police officers and make your escape out the front door. Jumping into your car, you silently drive away, eyes peeled for potential reinforcements. Once you're several blocks away with no sign of pursuers, you let out a sigh of relief. So, real quick supply run, huh? Well, I didn't anticipate the fuzz getting involved, if that's what you're asking. Still no chance of telling me what that was all about. Zdrada shakes her head, grinning. I'm disappointed. I thought you'd know me better than that. You're just gonna have to deal with staying in the dark on this front. Trust me though, it's for a good cause. So it's drugs. I said good cause, not great cause. Besides, do you think I wouldn't already be high as a kite if I had something with a decent kick? Good point. Guess I'll just have to find out the old-fashioned way. Well, that was mighty interesting. Anyways, that was all for today. I think next time we'll go for, let's see, maybe a Zaz on the Cerberus, I guess? Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment on who your favorite demon girl is, or Taker himself. And if you want to try this for yourself, links will be provided down below. Anyways, thank you, and take care.